felt like I'd had a bottle of whiskey and smoked 2 packs of cigarettes.
I do that every day with my training partners.
Butthole touches the ground.
Dance, buddy, dance.
Because I was going way too fast. I didn't know how to corner.
Angelo's moment's gone.
Hey, man, like rub some dirt in it. We're going out there.
It ended up with a grown man crying. CrossFit Games.
They
Over.
happened.
It's over. Gone.
I'm just not even talking.
Another year.
I'm not even talking because you did such a fantastic job on the last show hosting.
Oh, did you?
No.
No, you did.
Oh, did I? What I did? I know Scott actually when we got done, and he said we have 2 major problems when we finished the last live show.
Scott tried to fire
and
me.
One was that we know we can do live shows, and 2, he said you were an incredible host, and I was like, no, I was not.
You really were.
I have no idea what I did.
You did the business.
I didn't know. Yeah, well, that was just because there was I was reading off of a
script.
Yeah.
I only got to watch the first one you guys did, and then I watched like
Angela's like, yeah, I'll be on every one. And I was like, no, you won't. Because I know, at no point.
It just never lines up. Like the first one I thought I could do, and then like.
No.
Yeah.
You've got stuff going on. Your brain's not in it.
Yeah, and like.
And I wouldn't, after the first one, I would not have asked you to do another one.
Why?
Because I was mentally just mush. Granted, there were long days of like, hanging out with people and trying to be on and talkative, and I'm not talkative, and then having to go podcast and think about those things. I would just sit in the room after it and boop, my brain for 2 hours. I just could not shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you didn't.
It's the same. Yeah. It's even the same thing. It's like as competing, it's the same thing. Yeah. Like and I talked to a couple people about that. That's a whole nother struggle, is like trying to be social, I guess, for all of it, because you don't want people to think you're an asshole because you're not talking to anybody. But like the people who know, like you or like other competitors, they understand that, like, all right, like I'm not really like, I'll maybe say hey, but then I'm not gonna bother them after that. Like
I probably said this a lot, but like moving here was the first time that I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. That like that 6 weeks really before the games, when people's like their attitudes change.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's how it should be, right? It's supposed to be that way. But, like, my exposure used to just be, like, happy, lucky, I got a microphone in my hand. And, like, you got to give me sound bites and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
you want an event. Here you go.
Dance, buddy, dance. And so it was the first time that I saw people go, like, into game mode. So, I don't know if people do appreciate that, but they should. You guys have a lot of stuff to deal with, much less, like, before. And you shouldn't have to deal with, like, picture, smiles, whatever.
Yeah.
But you both wear it very well.
Go ahead.
Well, but that's like, you understand that's part of it. Like you show up and you're not playing the game. I don't want to say it's like a game, but you want to talk to those people because like most of those people you like, or
but you can't want to be when you're competing against them.
Well, sorry. And I'm saying like even fans too, like you want to be thankful for them too, because, and like you want to show them appreciation
without them.
Yeah. And you want to be able to show them appreciation for like supporting you, but you also want to crawl in a hole at the end of the day and not talk to anybody, like.
And I didn't have that luxury this year of being
hey,
sorry guys, I gotta go compete.
I gotta go rest up.
Just the queen all weekend, so it was mentally harder doing what I did this year than I did when I've ever competed.
It's
mentally, I was just, by the time I got done, I did not want to be, I was overstimulated. Just because it's not that it's not who I am.
Just tiring.
You just have to be on, and it's draining because you want to give back, because, we wouldn't be able to do what we do or have done without everybody that was there. Yeah. But, man, it hurt. You just, like I said, we'd get home or get back to the hotel about 8 or 9 o'clock, and I would just sit there and stare at the TV. I don't even know what we watched for like 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. I couldn't fall asleep. And then never failed. We'd always, Jake or Ben or whoever, Russ with Mayhem Mission, they'd plan something right at 8, which isn't early at all.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to bed till 12 or 1 or something,
or 2, like I think my Whoop by the end of the weekend, I was like 5 hours of sleep at night and down to like 10%.
It's like burning your wrist because it's working overtime.
And not that it matters whatsoever, but I had a race the next weekend, and it was pretty, I put a lot of time into that. So, you start to like that creeps in. You're like, oh no, am I going to get sick from, shaking hands and, just people all the time? I'm like, oh no, so it was, I got home. And we got home super late Sunday night, and Hillary was like, just sleep in. I'll take the kids in the morning. I'm like, no, it's the first day. I'll take them. Like, Lakeland's, it wasn't the first day. It was the little two's first day. I'm like, no, I'll go. And we got home at 1 a.m. or something. I was like, I'm going to I'm gonna sleep, and I slept till 12:30.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the kids like left, came back because little two had a half day. And when they got back is when I woke up, and I just felt like I'd had a bottle of whiskey and smoked 2 packs of cigarettes. Like it was awful.
Just been on
and then
a
I went to bed
bender.
again that night at 8:30.
Yeah, you're still ready back to
fried.
bed.
Perfect preparation for Leadville.
And I didn't do anything. So, but want to say super proud of all you guys, all of our Mayhem athletes. I saw one stupid comment on one of the videos like, "We need a podcast so you guys can explain what happened to all these Mayhem athletes." I'm like, shut up. They're the top 40 CrossFitters in the world. Kiss my ass.
Yeah.
You know?
I like that.
And so like.
That's the explanation?
Yeah, that's the explanation.
Did you see my reply?
No.
I said, what happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Like how they showed the game.
It was all of our athletes did incredible. I mean,
you can pick any athlete from any camp who maybe didn't do as well as they wanted to do. Like
nobody probably did as well as they wanted to, except for the people that won.
People who won.
Like,
yeah.
sorry.
Maybe and a couple rookies probably like a couple rookies in the top 10. Like they probably had they were excited, but like, it's like everyone.
I mean, everybody. You could go event by event and clean up a couple little things and move up a couple of spots. But really, that's about what you had. Like, everybody had about what they had, with what this season had been thrown at them. Yeah. And so, there's maybe a couple little things to clean up. But, man, it drives me crazy. Of course, people are going to sit back and like, oh, what happened there? What happened there? Like.
That's how any sport, though, right?
It's just I understand
like, I get
that,
it.
but and the people that are talking about it in long form, whatever. That's at least you can. But people that make one stupid YouTube comment, go somewhere else. Yeah, we don't want you here.
Yeah, or if you really want to know, go watch behind the scenes, right? Because like to the beginning of this conversation, like nobody knows. All they see is what they saw on the broadcast, right?
Yeah,
or the leaderboard and the broadcast, and it's like, you get to see that this is a long week with lots of stuff happening in the background, and there were ups and downs, and
you have arguably the top 40 CrossFitters in the world competing. You're still top 40 in the world no matter what. Right. Shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe, I don't think this is a hard right turn, but like it seemed like, and this might be a good open door for it, seemed like everybody was pretty happy with the program.
Man, I liked the programming. Individual team I thought was great. Yeah. Didn't pay attention a ton to the age group. It
was good. It was pretty vague.
I didn't love it.
A lot of it was, I would say a lot of it was based off of what the individuals did. The last event was the only thing I had a problem with, the 70 double unders or whatever in the middle of the workout. Yeah. Like it was like all machine, 75 double unders.
I just remember machine. I looked at it and was like, oh, glad I didn't trade all summer for that. It was just kind of basic, but I thought the team events challenged the teams, challenged them in different areas, got you guys on a bike, which was cool. Yeah. I want you to dive in and see what you really think. Individual, I loved it. We belabored this a ton on the kind of post day shows every day. Got to argue with Brian Friend a little bit, got to talk to him, and it was fun.
Yeah,
he was extremely valuable to the show for those types of shows. I'd love to figure out a way to get him on here regularly to talk about, like when the season kind of cranks back up. Because he is a super valuable in that type of stuff. But I think the cool thing, just we'll go overview and we'll dive in. But I think individually what was cool was you could pluck the tests out of the cuts and you could make an argument that was a good enough test to determine to a cut.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't really love the cuts, and I don't hate them. I don't love them. I mean, it's what you sign up for when you compete.
Yep.
At least you're not.
But at least the order. But at least the order didn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. So the workouts, like I said, you could. The first cut happened at Friday night.
After Friday night.
And you could look at those events, and you're like, all right, that's a good semifinal. That's a good test.
Yeah.
For that point, and then on Saturday, you could even take those 3 workouts. You've got an endurance event.
Endurance event for sure, yeah.
I've done an ultra endurance event now, so I would argue that's not an endurance event.
Not endurance, yeah.
But it's an endurance event. And then you have a CrossFit interval type workout, and then you have a max lift. So really,
and at the end of the day too, which I like that too.
I love it. Yeah. And so those 3 events, you could pull those and be like,
that'd be a good one-day competition.
So
for sure.
I will applaud Boz on programming. And I've been vocally, critical of some stuff, but I'm
pretty sure actually, Scott, can you in one of your fancy edits, will you pull what Rich and Angela said about the 5K and the Olympic lifting pre-games?
I don't even remember.
I'm pretty sure they pooped on it.
What should you be eating to reach your goals? The experts at RP Strength have it down to a science. Answer a few questions about your goals, activity level, and lifestyle, and the RP Diet app takes care of the rest. Get a year of nutrition help from RP Strength and RP Diet app for only $89.99 at www.rp.app/code/Froning. I mean, it wasn't a 5K.
It wasn't a
I don't love
5K.
it,
4.6 or so.
Yeah,
right.
I don't
Oh,
love
man,
it
that
as
was
a team event, especially.
No,
and
no.
and the way it was presented was that there was only going to be a 5K test, a gymnastics skills test, and a lift on that Saturday.
Sure. Yeah,
and so
they
the way it
moved
fits
stuff
in, I think it's good.
There.
I agree.
The only one event I didn't love was inverted medley. I'm not crazy about freestanding handstand push-ups. I don't love that, and the pullovers. I would have loved. I mean, obviously, you see muscle-ups in the later. I would have loved to see that workout as just a little bit more of a pressing endurance test. You could handstand
obstacle and bar muscle up,
and I think it would be a cool test. But that's we're getting nitpicky.
Do you want to start with the age group stuff and then work through the week, just to look at the age group,
if you want
see
to.
I figured we would start kind of chronologically, start there and then go individual, and then we'll go through team just because
I liked of the Olympic total. This was my favorite way to do it as an
Yep.
athlete. You had some time. I think
it was 3 minutes.
I think that was cool. Gives you a chance to actually show off a little bit. Where the 2 is kind of like scary.
Sorry, I'm not cutting you off. The one thing I didn't like in the workout after that is that I do understand that they had so many different age divisions and it's hard. The pig. I just really I know that they wanted to flip the pig or flip something.
Flip something. Let some of them flip something at least. You
obviously
have different workouts for different age groups. Let the youngers flip it.
Flip the pig. Yeah,
because
I talked to Grub
there for the other individuals.
Yeah, where you can change the weight a little bit.
Put it up and over or something. You could flip that pig up on its side. And then have the older age groups put a sandbag over it or something.
You could do. I just think that there's several age divisions. Think about it. Your age division didn't get to flip the pig. All those guys can flip the pig fine. And then especially even when I was 16 or 17, the girls' pig. Yeah. I know those kids could flip that pig for sure. So I wish they would flip the pig. I know they think the same thing.
I hated Helen.
Yeah.
I liked it for the individuals. I thought it was perfect, like a good twist on Helen. Why not at least let the first couple age groups do
bar muscle
up and the
dumbbell snatch is a better.
You could have dumbbell snatched the entire age groups. I just think kettlebell swing in competition is a horrible
from a judging perspective.
What was the standard? I don't remember
above
the standard.
Eye level, your arms had to be straight above head. Your arms had to be straight, and then you could bend your arms coming down. It's a really kettlebell swings should not be in competition. They're an incredible accessory. I think
I don't see why it can't just be like a clean and jerk. Bell straight up, ears in front of the bicep. Yeah, I don't understand why that's so hard. Whatever.
Yeah. I think people lose it over the back with the belt. That's probably a safety deal. You know what I'm saying?
True.
An inverted kettlebell, some people are.
Or even don't turn the bell up. Just walk your arms out overhead. You can have the bell facing forward. I don't know. There's too many.
It's a very poor movement for
for whatever redeeming value it has. I can't bring up the leaderboard right now, but seeing some of the times for me was damn. Especially some of the teenagers where I was okay, that's really cool.
I guess that's cool. Is comparing the times of people who've done Helen.
I think I love the play on the named workouts, but I feel like we're so far from where CrossFit started that
they need to be scaled up a little bit. A lot of them do.
And workouts like that, it's hard to compare because people are doing different distences.
Where you run, the run
what
is
the
different.
Standards are, and so
you can't compare a workout that has a 400-meter outdoor run ever.
No,
because unless you wheel it off and outdoor at all, because then the hills, the terrain, what shoes you wore, it just much stuff comes in. The factor.
I think kettlebell swing's a very poor workout. Can we go back to the workout, Scott? Like I said, I like the individual version of this.
Me too.
Pulling power. I didn't really get it. Did anybody get to watch any of these? But
we were getting by that time we were getting run around.
Well,
doing different stuff.
Well, the coverage though, the coverage really was left a lot to be desired.
Yeah. So I didn't really get to see this one. I don't hate it. I can't really tell what the weight was on the sled.
It's a heavy deadlift. I know that too.
Multiple times. I don't love sled push. I love sled push workouts. I just don't like them in competition because half the time the flooring and footing and all that stuff. So. Gymnastics chipper pretty good minus the pistols. In age groups, why are we doing pistols? the inherent risk and most of the time the mobility in masters at after 35. That's the only thing I don't like about that workout. Pretty good workout.
Run the 5K.
The cross country 2.8 mile run was
2.8,
great.
yeah.
I think that's like legit was the
I won my
distance.
Garmin. It was 2.84 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. But just don't bill it as a 5K because it makes us
look bad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
They caught me because on some of the individual times you were like, oh my God.
You're like, dude, why doesn't that guy run why isn't he running competitively?
Yeah, not to take anything away from the event. It's just that's what the test is.
It's a good test. If everyone does it, it's fair, but it's not a 5K. Don't call it a 5K.
Don't call it a 5K. You can compare your times to people that did it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But not a 5K. So, endure the Coliseum. Like you said, the double unders are just kind of like right there. You know, like what's the point? But why not 100 even? You know, like
yeah.
But they're pointless. I don't know if it was try to even out the machine stuff, but
it's not.
It's such a big person's workout that it's.
And then their final, I like their final.
I like the final. Yeah, that was cool.
That's a cool final.
So yeah, I think overall it's a good test. I don't love that the 1 rep maxes are at the very beginning. I hate that you get to do a fresh 1 rep max. It rewards the
only strong people.
Yeah, for sure. So
at least at the end of the first day would be good.
Yeah.
How about not asking you guys to defend or attack CrossFit, but the coverage? Did you see the coverage? Effectively, like apparently the story goes that they weren't even planning to cover it, right?
Is a bad.
And then what it turned out was just a very long
people commentating.
It was a big,
You should have not even. It should have been like a live, like a radio broadcast. You know,
almost like they did for the podcast on site in Orlando.
Yeah, but it was not even that.
It wasn't that. They could at least cut from phone to phone.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like having competed in the teens, like is it defensible that they don't give as much coverage? Like maybe it's a whole different thing. Like should they be
like so there's two ways to look at it. I get that they don't bring in as much views because it's not like the like the individuals is like the Super Bowl. Yeah. Like this stuff is like the age group or even the teams, the same boat is like the minor leagues of this of it to everybody. Like that's the best way I can explain it. And everybody who's I can speak from experience because I've competed in it. So I'm not like just this isn't just a random opinion. It doesn't get as much views, but I do think they're
part of the community.
I do think that they're missing a lot of reach by not broadcasting, like especially like the 60 plus people. Like when you look at 60 and then the 65 plus divisions, I mean it's hard to understand. I know what's going on, like to know what's going on, but if you're like 40 or 50 and maybe your health is starting to decline and you're flipping through the channels and you see that on, you're like, what is this stuff? Like that guy's older than me. He looks like he's younger than me, and he's clean and jerking 225 pounds. Like what's going on right now?
Yeah.
So they're missing an audience, I think, and they're almost depriving an audience, I guess.
I guess to the point about like flipping channels, I don't think that you'll ever see it like while you're flipping channels because somebody like ESPN, they are just looking at numbers. Like for better or worse, they're not going to hear about your community stuff. They don't care how many people did the Open, et cetera. And then from
even
a coverage
if it was on
standpoint,
YouTube, though,
right. And the only thing that we have to go on tangibly is that we paid for a pretty cool broadcast at the Legends with Rich's money, and it was very low viewership.
Yeah,
so
here's the deal: is the loudest people are going to say the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch it then.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's the only point at the end is like you got to show up, you got to put your butt in the seat, and you got to watch.
You want to see the Masters so bad, let's see you get in the seats and pay it. Come out there and watch it. Like I'm for it.
Yeah,
but if it's like there is a cost reward, and
for sure.
You have to it is what it is. Then make these Masters competitions and watch it. Then if you wanna, it goes back to like a lot of
don't just complain about
other
it.
Sports as well, and we won't get into those topics, but put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah. And then the other one that really bothers me is there's this soundbite that gets thrown around always. It's like all the Masters have disposable income. And I'm like, I think that's a little bit of a fallacy. Like, just because you're older does not mean that you're a millionaire.
No, exactly. But okay, so my argument, I guess, would to be, all right, people aren't watching the live stream. At least a recap of every
for
day
sure
should have happened.
Commercials
highlight content. Just a recap video. Hey, 35 to 39. This is what happened, men and women. Each, CrossFit.
Even if it's a 1 minute reel on Instagram,
even
when they talk about here's the winners. Like show the winners
Get Sean
of
or
this
somebody
event.
To just quickly talk about it and give
highlights,
them
quick
a little
highlights.
bit of love.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard some rumors, and I'm sure everybody has, but you know, if there isn't the fire and people showing up to do it, it might go away. You know, so it is what it is. So
yeah.
But I mean, that's where some of these other competitions like Legends and all these other ones can step up, but they need help too as well. I mean, without people watching it. If you want masters to stick around, masters and teams,
you need to watch it. Tell people, tell other people to watch. Say, hey, you almost have to be like your own promoter. Like it's kind of. I mean, that's the way it is with anything. I just feel like there's a lot more people doing it for the individuals, and it like grew a lot quicker. So that's the only thing that and it's hard. I get that. That's hard. Like one person can't. You can't move them out on your own for sure.
Cool. You want to
go over individuals and then
go indies?
Just because I actually did some of the other ones. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. Like the first 2 days is a good test alone. I heard some people talking about, maybe it was just a comment or something about like saying, especially Jack Farlow on the Olympic total, they're like, oh, he won the total, but then he got cut. Like
he finished 38th.
It happens. Like it happens.
Yeah, I
mean,
that's a misunderstanding of how the sport works.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. You snatched 390, but I mean, clean and jerk 390. But what were your finishes on the bike? What were you like?
Yeah,
sorry.
And I mean, like, and he wasn't the one complaining either. He probably even understood. He's like, this is my home run, hit it. I'm gonna hit it, and I'm out. Like, people complaining about him getting cut after he did an amazing Olympic total. Like, he understands. I'm sure as an athlete, he understands that if I get fitter this next year and I do better in the first half of the week, I'll get rewarded for that. So like, I mean,
even if you lost 15 pounds on that lift, and
look at Jeff Adler,
take off 10 places in each event, you're still around, 10 or 15.
Here's a Brian Frank question. I wonder if anybody who's won a arguably specialized event, a single modality specialized event, has gone on even a podium. You know what I'm saying? Like
true,
your 5K or your swim or your whatever it is. And I doubt it.
Sure. Maybe not. Maybe not.
2020, does that count?
What?
Does 2020 count?
No, we threw that year out.
Well, actually,
there's 5 people there.
Throw that out because the year that Fraser won with
not that it doesn't count for winning. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for events like that's just 2. We only have 5 people. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but what the year where they ran at the ranch and then deadlifted right after?
16.
Matt won that run. Okay, and he won the games.
And there you go.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Still 1 out of however many years is
Yeah.
Anyways, it just drives home the point of like it's a fitness. Fitness is all inclusive.
All inclusive.
And this is a stretch, but as I was looking at the BCS workouts that are announced now, and there's somebody on there for the bench toes to bar, and she's like, "Why do you hate small athletes? What about us who are going to get pinned by the bench, but we can do toes to bar for days?" I'm like, "Work on your bench press."
What did you just say? And then 35-pound dumbbells. right. If it was like 70s and 50s, I could see your argument.
I could see it.
But that's a cardio
balanced. It's balanced.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I'm just saying, like, it's the same concept magnified, where you're like, just because you won one event, like, you can't make the argument you're the
people that can bench press but can't do what.
That's what I said.
Before we move on, I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast yesterday, and
hold on, you got like pubes on here. It's been bothering me the whole time. All right. Okay, so go ahead, Joe Rogan.
He has a
podcast too, like ours.
Apparently,
yeah. Okay,
it's a little bit like this. It's not quite as big.
Okay, got it.
Well, he was talking about people need to complain. And I almost everything we're talking about right now makes you just think of this. So I have to add it in. Like when you look at people like, in Africa who are starving and like, they have something to complain about. Us, we really don't have anything to complain about, so we need to find something to complain about. Sure. Those people on the internet, they need to find something to complain about. So you have
the internet gives every idiot a voice.
So exactly. And this is exactly what they were talking about. They were talking about just idiots having a voice, complaining on the internet. So like people have to complain. It's in our DNA to complain. Like everyone has to have a little bit to complain about. So,
but do you like? I know you clap back sometimes. Obviously, Scott does. But like when I go to like make the comment that I just made, I'm like, I just don't have time for this. It's just not.
Sometimes I'll do it only on YouTube because I don't have any other real social media. So sometimes on YouTube when I see them, I get pretty fired up. But then half the time, it's more just like a snide comment
joke
versus like I'm not going to get into a debate.
Right. Not spending a lot of time on my argument here.
Yeah, no, I just get right to the point.
Instead on my podcast, I'm just going to talk about it.
Yeah. I get right to the point. I degrade you and I'm out. Like I don't. I'm not like trying to make a conversation.
Well, one of those people said something. I might have even responded on one of them, and I was like, "Well, how did you do at the CrossFit Games?"
Yeah,
this year?
There it is. That's good.
Got him.
That was the same one. They said,
okay, was that one?
Podcast talking about.
Yeah. Okay, so at least I did respond to it. So
All right. First, I mean, we can go through them. First one,
hey,
ride.
Chipper. The ride.
Oh, ride.
That was not a mountain bike. It was a crit with a mountain bike. We rode the course.
You ride it?
What day was that?
You did
2
with
days
him?
after on the treks.
I
It was
did
the
it.
most
Did it.
boring thing.
What do you mean?
Rich just needed miles, so he never got off and ran.
Oh, you ran. The run was awful.
Yeah, I did not. I was like, you know what? I don't care anything about
Yeah.
the running
no.
part of
Every
it.
time I came around that corner, I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
I think we did like 4 or 5 laps, and I'm like, I'm getting back on my bike. This is not helping me for what I need to be doing whatsoever. And so I went and got back on my really good bike versus the bikes there. Oh my God. And you don't you're not clipped in.
Yeah.
And
You're hammering your quads.
It wasn't there was no skill whatsoever. The corners were kind of wide and sweepy. And
well, the only thing about that is I was thinking, man, it would be fun to do it
with
shoulder
a
to
pack,
shoulder.
in a
And
pack.
like, I'm
Yeah.
sure
But
that
I
was a different dynamic.
Just
I didn't-
out by myself.
Yeah, it was just
and
different.
It
It
was
wasn't-
not fun.
I told him I was by, I think I passed 2 or 3 people on the first lap. I passed one more person on my second lap, and I did 4 or 5 laps. And then those next 3 laps, I didn't see anybody. So there was exactly, I did exactly what you guys did. And we arguably had the most people out there, you know,
It was so
we had
boring.
It was super entertaining to watch, though.
No, I thought
you were there.
from a spectator standpoint,
Yeah.
and with a bunch of people and them like getting in a pack and drafting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said it like as an individual by myself.
wasn't fun by
It
yourself.
was not fun, and it was not mountain biking. There
Yes.
was no real skill in it. It was completely capacity.
Especially fresh
Yeah.
off the boat, haven't been surfing for an hour or two, you know.
In
I
the
just-
sun, yeah. Yeah.
And
So
it's like NASCAR too, where you don't want to see them crash, but you do
kinda
want
was
to.
Yeah,
some
oh,
crash. Good
yeah,
thing we got a
dude.
bunch of crashes between our Mayhem athletes, you idiots. And but it was cool. Like, it was what I said, and I might have just said this, I can't remember, but it was an off-road crit.
Yeah.
That's what it was, and it's fine. That it was cool, but as from a mountain biking, me having mountain biked, there was no mountain biking to it.
when you were talking about the run, when I got off, I hopped the first one after my first lap, I hopped off and I'm running with it. I ran as hard as I could and I handed the bike to Sam and I was like, I don't want to run again.
Yeah.
I don't want to run again because like my heart rate was probably like 150, maybe 160 when I hopped off, and it was like 190 when I handed the bike off. I was exhausted.
I think I averaged like 175 for that 30 minutes that
yeah.
I was on the course.
Yeah.
My first little one, I hopped over the thing and I was like, wow, yeah, I look like an athlete, you know, like for the first lap. The next time I came up and like I stepped on top of it, and then the next one I was like, step over. Like,
Yeah.
It was hard.
I was slowing down hard on the jump offs.
It was cool. I mean, I would love to see them have to like do some type of trail, but it's just not.
No, it's not really
tough
feasible,
one about
yeah.
that too is like you can speak to this, and we're gonna do a whole podcast on it eventually. But like single track,
Yeah.
it really is about the start, some of it, and
No, I mean, you could almost do like
if you had
you could
time
give
trial?
a time trial. A
Oh,
time
yeah,
trial
yeah,
would
yeah.
be cool.
That would be cool.
But that's a completely different.
Are you saying like do it as a time trial or do a time trial like a
So you have a
how
10
NASCAR is.
mile clip, and you get a couple practice runs on it, and then every 5 minutes they let somebody
Send someone?
like you get a kind of a practice
Yeah,
or
some-
like a set your placing and how you start. and
yeah
then do a
okay
5
yeah so
minute-
like NASCAR.
and yeah, it'd be a time
Kinda,
trial. It'd be a time trial like they do it.
That'd be
They
good.
do the Tour de France where they do a time trial.
Yeah.
Like it's literally.
No, that'd be good.
I think it would be cool to test that, just because I mean it's fun.
Yeah.
Different
Yeah,
skill.
yeah.
It's high skill. Like I
That's
get
the only
whole,
way to do it.
It's so specialized. So I'm not 100%.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that specialized though. Like mountain biking should be something that
Pretty
I mean
basic-ish.
people are definitely trail running.
Yeah.
Like you should be mountain biking as well. So
But
I don't know.
let me hit the rewind button to a off-road triathlon we did, where a very old, less fit man named Rory beat Angelo.
You did beat me.
And it had nothing to do with anything other than the bike.
Oh, for sure the
know
mountain
what I mean?
bike. Yeah. Well, because I rode a mountain bike. I'm not trying to like take your win away from you.
No, I am. I'm giving it to you. I'm just saying, like, if
I
you would
rode
have
a
worked
mountain
gears
bike.
better, if you would have had the experience. Like, it was about experience on the bike.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the triathlon.
And but I even think like
But I
that's
always
part
make
of it.
the-
Like you
yeah,
should
I
be
make-
doing stuff like that.
I always make the argument that I think somebody who wins an off-road triathlon is a better athlete than somebody who wins an on-road triathlon.
Suck it.
Because, but when you're looking at what we
Yeah,
call
athleticism.
fitness and athleticism, I think
There's more to it.
It takes
for
a
sure.
lot more to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I rode at Cane Creek the week before that. And
Not
I
saying
remember
an athlete couldn't adapt.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
fly,
Oh, yeah.
with a little bit of training.
when I remember when we got to Cane Creek and we start at the top in the like the pines, whatever's up there. And I went to turn a corner, and I just like completely, I just ran off my bike. And I tried another corner, and I ran off the bike again. And Brian was behind me. He's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "Dude, I have no idea what's going on," because I was going way too fast. Yeah, I didn't know how to corner. And he's like, "Dude, you have to like scoot back in your bike. You can't be going that fast first. You got to scoot back in your bike." And then like I started to get a hang of it a little bit. But
and
it's
when
like,
you get when you get
Brian
your head wrapped
Nelson
around.
coached you on a mountain bike?
Oh yeah, because he was like behind me, and he would
scary.
just like catch up to me and stop. Catch up to me and stop. He's like, "Why do you keep coming off your bike?" I'm like, "Because I keep falling. I keep getting thrown off."
And like even just simple knowledge of like how and when to shift, I think is massive.
Yeah. But I mean,
That's what I was talking to Foster. Like I told Foster, because Foster's going to kind of help with Guy this year. And he's like, "What does he need to do?" I was like, 100-mile road bike. There's a 100-mile road bike in like September 9th, I think. Sign him up for it. And he's like, yeah, but he got to learn to shift and all that stuff. I'm like, you should, like, when it gets hard, make it easier.
Yeah.
100 miles is a great amount of time to learn how to shift.
Especially on a road
mental.
bike.
It's going to be all mental. It's a road bike, so.
I
liked it.
We should move past the bike because we're going to try and get teams in and then talk about your
pig
bike.
chipper, I thought it was a great test. I loved it. The best thing about this was Luke texted me that Monday previous when it had been announced.
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, well, this is a completely separate story. He texts me, he goes, "Hey, I'm gonna touch some of the movements on this pig chipper." And I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "You think 20-pound wall ball to 11 feet? Or do you think 30-pound wall ball to 10 feet? And I said, "How about you do 20 pounds to 10 feet? And he was like, "Why?" Like, that's what we've done for 12 years previous to last year. He's like, "Yeah, but I feel like they're always trying to like throw us off." I said, "Yeah, but this is a great workout. If you just leave it at 100 at 10 feet.
Yeah.
Because there's no need. The heavier you make it, the most of the time, the slower the intensity." And it was funny. I think he had a couple other run-ins with this workout, and you might be able to speak to that. But it was just funny that he's like, last year flipped everybody on their head that they thought everything has to have a trick on it. Yeah. And then this was just like CrossFit right down the center. And I loved this workout. I thought it was great.
I really like that workout. I think I would say the rookies who hadn't flipped a pig had no idea how it was going to affect their grip.
Grip on the second half.
Grip on the pig. Like doing even the 10 into the gymnastics, you're thinking like, "Oh, okay, I'll flip this. My arms will be a little tired, heart rate will be up." No, your grip is smashed. Right. And then you do 25 chest roll right into 50
balls are surprisingly grippy because you have to catch.
And your arms are up, so the blood's not really coming out of your arms, and then now you're back on more grip. Yeah, it's that's a cool workout.
And this is one of the few events that I actually stood in North Park, and it was cooking.
It was hot.
I mean, it was for most of them, but.
And athletes were.
And there was a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it was like 20 to 30 minutes where they got to go back.
People were messed up.
It was really
which
quick.
Is, it is what it is. You got to manage that and do that. And everybody was on an equal-ish playing field, I guess. Nah, never mind, because some people just finished the bike a little shorter. Some people had a full. So
but
I don't to be faster,
like. It does. Yeah, I didn't like the AMRAP on the bike, but like I think the bike is a little different than just a regular AMRAP because, like, I think me and Sam were talking about this. Like, if you and I did the bike, you would do more laps than me for sure, but we would probably be about the same amount of tired because your skill is what's allowing you to go faster than me.
Right.
So for the most part, but you are doing more work. So I don't know.
It was crazy. The first heat and second heat being in the back, the second heat's in the tunnel getting ready to go out, and there were literally people being carried off.
Yeah.
Vic got carried off. I literally thought she had like a season-ending injury. And later on, I'm like, "Hey, Vic, what did they do? They take her to the hospital?" Like, he's like, "No, she's back here. She's fine." I said, "What?" It was just cramp. She was cramping. But it looked like they were carrying her off.
But imagine you're getting ready to go out there, and three people from the first heat are like arms on people's shoulders. They're getting dragged out like they're dead. Yeah. And you're like, "I'm about to go out there."
Terrifying. Love it. Takes you back to 2010.
It's like gladiators, man. They just see a guy who just got eaten by a lion, and they're like, "All right, kiddo, you're up."
Exactly what I was thinking of. I'm filming Luke, and I distinctly remember I'm filming Luke about to go out there, and to my right, Colton Mertens is like getting dragged off because his legs were fully cramped. I'm like, imagine you see that, and you've got to go out in North Park.
It was, and this is every year at the games, but like for me to see those guys looking very human. Yeah. I was there for, I was there for all the heats. But yeah, Luke was in the same one as Medeiros, right? Yeah. And I was like, what's happening, right? I was like trying to ride Luke from the sideline, just like, and he's, I'm used to seeing you guys just like There is no chill. There's no stop. There's no like the things.
Yeah, maybe they'll slow down a little bit, but just kind of like keep working steadily.
Yeah.
But like, you see someone who just like dies.
Yeah. Inverted medley, like I said, not my favorite. That's probably my least favorite of all the workouts, but is what it is. My opinion isn't always accurate.
Because you wanted more. You don't like the freestanding.
I don't like freestanding, and pullovers are kind of dumb. And they're not.
Just makes you dizzy.
They're not fully taxing that much. Mm-hmm. I like bar muscle up. I think would have been a better thing there, and then a strict or whatever, some type of handstand push up, regular handstand push up. That's me.
Sure.
Being hypercritical.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Is what
I don't
it is.
like.
I don't love it.
The only thing I guess I really don't like is that those freestanding handstand push-ups are the handstand push-ups of the week.
Yeah.
That's all the handstand push-ups they did, because when you look at
when you
look at all this, you're like, okay, handstand push-up, they check that box, and it's like, not really though. You didn't test handstand push-ups.
No.
And is this then like, is this what they were calling the skills?
Yeah, that was the skills medley.
Okay.
So, it is what it is. Not my favorite. Least favorite of the workouts, if we're being hypercritical.
Yeah. Opportunity for me, I guess it could have been higher volume, but like opportunity for me to put my foot in my mouth. Like, I feel like I always talk trash about Laura Horvath, and now I'm glad this was here. And actually she had a great quote during the thing. She was like, yeah, people say that this wasn't there or that wasn't there, and like, screw those guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, hand in the air. I pulled up to Walmart to get our groceries at the beginning of the week. Backed in right next to Laura. I was like, hey, what's up? And I just, I'm reading way deep, and I'm like, are you mad at me? But she crushed it.
This alpaca, it was cool to see them do it how they were supposed to last year. That sled looked like the whole part of the workout. Yeah. Roman still crushed it. So which is cool. The two legless in there, how much did that really do? I think it was a very heavy workout, a kettlebell clean and jerk heavy workout and sled. I mean, it was what the whole workout was about.
And speaking of Laura,
I didn't like there wasn't a great tiebreaker system. There was a bunch of ties right on the leaderboard, I thought. But
on the sled, there was a bunch of tie. Yeah, because if you were in the same, I thought they said. No. For the bobs, they told us the bobs that they were going to take a picture of it, and that was going to be your tiebreaker. Like if your bobs are like in different spots, that was a tiebreaker, and it doesn't sound like the same thing for their sleds.
You started to talk about Laura.
Yeah, the quote that Laura had is that like I think she got second on this workout, and she was like pissed because she wanted to win it with the legless rope climbs because everyone was just talking saying saying, well, if there were rope climbs, like Laura wouldn't have won. And she I don't know who was interviewing her afterwards. She was like, I really just wanted to freaking win that workout so people could shut up. Yeah. But she still crushed it. What?
She won it last year?
She won it last year by a landslide.
So did Roman, and he won it this year.
Yeah.
So the same winners.
Laura didn't win it this year, though. She got second, I think. But still, the same people did good. Yeah. Enough. Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't think the rope climbs obviously didn't change that much. Maybe somewhere down the leaderboard a little bit, but the winners didn't.
Ski bag was fun to watch.
I'm glad they could put the bag wherever they, like on your shoulder versus I thought they were going to have to like bear hug it, and that would have been terrible. So I thought, it was good.
I thought that was kind of cool, yeah.
I loved the version of Helen. Like I said, I thought it's a good version to where we are in the sport today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it had the similar stimulus of like what it would have been in the beginning.
Do you think it could have been a little heavier dumbbell?
Maybe a little,
like 60,
60, yeah, because at 50 you can cycle, but
it didn't need to be necessarily.
It didn't have to be.
No. But because the thing about Helen is that it's supposed, even in the beginning, it was all about the run. It's like a hard, the harder you run.
The whole workout's supposed to be unbroken and fast.
Yep.
And that it fit that bill, and if you could cycle your bar muscle ups a little bit faster, you might be able to make up a time. And then if you could cycle that dumbbell faster. So, I thought, like I said, when Helen came out, I think I called this. I was like, it needs to be dumbbell snatch and it needs to be bar muscle.
Yeah, you did say dumbbell.
Like, no, it's going to be Helen, straight Helen. And it did show up that way for them. Or no, he was like double kettlebell snatch all like, I love Jake, but sometimes like it gets a little too crazy at times.
I think it could have been, I think kettlebell, like all, just kettlebell snatch would have been fine.
I think it was perfect. I think it was perfect the way it was. I don't think you didn't church it up too much.
Yeah.
You kept the stimulus of original Helen.
Yeah.
It's good.
I guess my two thoughts on it. I really like workouts where they run into the Coliseum. Like I think those are cool. And two, I didn't want to think this at the time it was happening, but I know Castro always talks about this. Like there's always, he can tell like when there's kind of a shift in momentum in the weekend. When Adler won this workout by a lot, I was like, shit, there's the shift.
There he goes.
And that was the shift. Like he took this Helen workout and just crushed it, and then it was like kind of the Jeff Adler show after that. And
no, absolutely not.
No?
I 100% disagree. If Roman's foot doesn't break.
No, no. I think.
But
well,
Adler did a great job.
I want to talk about their race at the end when we get there.
Yeah, Adler did a great job. And yes, he did really well on that workout, but it was definitely not the Jeff Adler show after that. So.
There was still,
maybe the Jeff Adler show was too far.
100 points between them. I think,
Roman was like playing a game at that point.
Nothing had really gone wrong for him until
intervals.
The intervals worked
in the intervals. So,
cross country 5K. It's a 5K. It's a long run. It wasn't a 5K. 2.8.
Even though it wasn't 5K, the time still impressed me.
Yeah, 2.8 miles is cool.
The intervals were awesome. I don't know if you guys watched Pat Vellner's technique. It was awesome. Like he looked like every time he jumped from the box, like he was sliding in a home plate. He was so fast on the box get over. Did you watch it?
No.
He was
we
so
watched the
fast.
event, but they didn't show him.
It was nuts. Like no one else had a technique like his, and it was like so obvious that why he did so good. His get overs were he was doing like 2 to people's 1.
I didn't see it.
He would get up and over, and he would like kind of hop up on it and slide off. Slide off.
No standard to like keep your feet inside the box?
He did. His feet would come over and he would like just slide it like a water slide down. Like I
to show us.
When I was watching, I was like, I never even thought about doing that.
I hate the fact that there was some language barrier, something happened with Roman.
Yeah,
he got completely discombobulated on this workout because that should be a good workout for him. So there's nothing. I'm not 100% sure what actually happened there.
What number is it? It looks like they have them split up by.
So we'll have to look at that later, or maybe pull it up later. But
on Roman's workout, he got a no rep on the box jump over.
Yeah.
Or they miscounted.
Miscounted.
Because there's no way to get a no rep.
Yep.
And he thought he was done, so he started going, and they said no, so he had to jump over again.
Yep.
And then he went.
And then he skipped the rower on the second rower. Like,
yeah.
dude.
I think he got confused though after.
Yeah, for sure.
We interviewed Facundo after. Before we left Madison, and he was saying like Roman really has to memorize the workout before he goes.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't necessarily understand.
And
so if something like that happens, he gets very turned around.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucked. When I saw him do that, I was like, oh gosh. And then he was working me and Sam were watching and we're like, he's about to pull some incredible numbers in this rower to try to catch up. And I'm sure he did. And I think it might have hurt him.
Yeah. He was buried. So
I remember, sorry, real quick I was there at the 17-1 when it was the snatches and burpee box jump overs. And even then Vellner's just like, he's athletic with those things. You know what I mean? So he's got a vibe. It's cool to see like that.
It was so cool.
It's cool to see that kind of stuff where like Rich's rope climb where people will try and imitate it. You know? And they'll be like, I could gain a little edge with that.
Yeah. The Vellner on those get overs was just so cool. What are you doing, Scott? What are we doing?
Well, we got this Crate and Barrel commercial on our screen. I'll say real quick back to Helen. As a normal person, what's cool about it is Helen, similar to like Fran, is a benchmark where like people like I will never forget my first unbroken Fran.
Right.
And I can say the same thing for Helen.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool evolution of it. We could be like, okay, cool. Well, there's the next thing that I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah.
Look at him.
It's like shooting through kind of.
Yeah. Because a lot of guys, you have to get down and then jump down, but he's like on his way down to the ground as he gets over.
Yeah, he's kind of
like Roman has a good tempo and he's moving quick and smooth. But then
what was the height on these? 40,
42, 48, 48.
48? Yeah, 224.
Using very little.
We'll have to cycle.
Where's he at?
Here.
So there was no your feet could stay inside the box kind of thing? Or
it was just had to get over the I thought your feet had to be over the top of the box, but your feet could go on the outsides, but it had to clear like the plane, I guess, of where the box would be.
Could you rebound? Probably not.
No, you have to step down.
Good.
That also versus watch Adler, he's going in circles, That was a big evolution for me. It's just like Roman's going back and forth and Adler's getting dizzy.
Yeah.
So that's the way I do when I do box jump over.
Really?
You do the same way every time?
Really? I do.
But yeah, so that cool event I like that. It was CrossFit.
I do like that.
The lift, 2 lifts. I wish it was 3 or a time.
Yeah.
We've kind of belabored that. I don't think it.
Did anybody have any mess mess ups though?
I don't.
You just didn't see the lifts that people were capable of.
Right.
That's the hard part with that is I don't love that. It's almost like they were done so early on that day too. Was it that day?
They were done early.
So I'm like,
they were done early because
it was like 4:30 or something.
They were done early because we were talking about this. Me and Sam were talking about this. That the their time slot on ESPN was like must have been at like earlier. Something more important must have been on because the team's finishing not on ESPN. And we're like, oh yeah, I'm like, dude, the Coliseum's gonna be empty. It's Saturday night. The individuals are done. They aren't gonna stay and watch us. It wasn't that bad though.
Muscle Up Logs. I thought it was a cool event.
I like that event.
And people are going to talk about danger of the bags and whatever. It's the risk you take as an athlete. Yeah. And, and not to like when you were saying that's the Adler show. Like Roman was still.
No.
He did incredible. I'm not saying that the only reason, I'm not taking anything away from Adler's win. Sport is about staying part of winning and part of sport, part of fitness
is making it through.
Health is making it through, and that's what happens. I absolutely hate it. Do I think Roman would have smashed the parallel bar pull workout? 1,000%. Do I think he would have smashed the Echo Thruster final? Absolutely. I would have loved to seen what the race would have been. I have my opinion of what I think would have been the outcome.
Yeah, I think we all have the same opinion.
But it does not matter. You can't take anything away from Adler because, like I said, sport is about staying healthy, and
it wasn't outrageous. Like it wasn't like no crash pads under. You know what I'm saying? Like it was bad. It was bad luck.
Like, it'd be one thing, and I saw
the 20-pound rope with no crash pads, and
all the way
metal
up,
pole and cinder blocks next to you. That one,
20-pound rope.
When Dave was talking about his week in review about some of these things, like talking about safety for athletes, and he made a couple good points. Like the log, you can see over the log. And you weren't jumping blind, and then there's a bunch of room, and he's the only person that got hurt from it. Yeah. So, not that I wish Roman wouldn't have gotten hurt, but one person getting hurt isn't like I wouldn't say it was an unsafe test because one person got hurt. But yeah, I do hate that happened on the last day, especially, and I do think Roman would have maybe even won, at least one, maybe both of those last workouts. But
the thing that sucks is it was a 2-point race on Sunday, going with 2 events, and this was the first year in a little while where
you had a tight race like that.
A new champion, a tight race.
A new champion, tight race, yep. I think...
And those were the only 2 guys that could win.
Yeah.
So as soon as he got hurt, you knew Adler was going to
happen. Yeah. I don't know anybody who's... Maybe there are people, but I don't know anyone who's as good at heavy double unders as Roman. He did a workout the other day. It started with 200, did them unbroken at the beginning of a workout, and then I think it finished with another 200. He did 150 and 50.
Yeah.
So
and he's good on the parallel.
Yeah.
I mean, we're belaboring that fact. Like it would have been a really good.
It would have been a really good race. Adler still could have won for sure, but.
And you guys can both speak to it better, but it's like I'm sure that Adler's a little bit disappointed as well. Not. You don't think?
No,
you don't care.
All right, fair enough.
Easier.
I wouldn't.
Speaking
care.
From. This is just me.
Yeah.
The easier it is towards the end, the better it is. I'm sure he's like, dang, I wish Roman was healthy. You don't want to win that way by somebody getting.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
but you don't.
Maybe he wasn't happy
really
about it, but you don't want to
like push at the end.
Yeah, you don't care.
Anytime I had a 100+ point lead, I was still trying. But
you're okay with
like
it.
You feel
there's a little bit of there's a little bit.
All right. So I mean, you don't want anybody to get hurt. That's not the way you want to win. So to your point, yes, but not having.
But I'm sure he wasn't upset that he didn't have a push. Yeah,
exactly.
He's like, cool. I'm gonna win.
So 2 things. One is that we haven't talked about any females yet, and the second is because
talk about Laura.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe our crew, but also so if we're beating stuff to death, maybe I'd love to just hear you guys talk about the fact that. Although he did not win, Roman is by far the people's champ.
Yeah,
that was wild to see.
It was cool to see
the amount of support, and people are just so fired up.
Yeah, it was. That was great.
You want to give any behind the scenes on I guess everybody knows the whole story now, but you were there when they were talking to him, and
they were the medical guys were adamant that he shouldn't even probably go out there. Props to CrossFit, I think, for letting him go out there, letting him make his own decision. If it's not a life-threatening decision. Let the athlete make the decision. If you don't have minimum work requirements, they don't have the right to tell somebody they're disqualified from an event, in my opinion, if it's not life-threatening.
Yeah, I agree.
It's 100% on the athlete
to make the decision for that's best for them.
Hey, I've destroyed my body for 13 years. Am I going to pay for it down the road? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was my decision to do that.
And I understand the concept of like you have to keep working. Like I want that in there, but I'm just saying I think that you'll see next year. I think you'll see minimum work.
There needs to be. There has to be.
I think that's the only way to do this is put a minimum work requirement for athlete safety.
Yeah.
Not, and here's the deal. People are going to complain, well, it's not fair that this athlete didn't get to complete this workout and they're out. That's what you sign up for.
Yep.
No doubt.
And the minimum work requirement, in my experience, is always easy. Yeah. If you're healthy, you can do it.
If you're healthy, you can do it. And if you're not healthy and you want to at least try it, that's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you.
Yeah.
And I get medical should 100% say, we advise you not to do this. This is your own risk at going out there. If it's me, I'm not x-raying that thing.
No.
Until
bro.
Until
because that seemed like it got in his head.
100%.
They were giving him like worst case scenario, and the medical team, like you said, they did a fantastic
job, and that is their job.
But you could see his wheels turn and hard.
That it immediately was in his head, and I'm like, me as an athlete, as a competitor, I don't want to hear.
No,
give me a worst case. Just tell me, can I
go out there and jump rope? You probably could. Okay, that's all I need to know. I'm good.
That was
one of hurt. Yes,
that was one of the highlights of my game was watching them, and Roman's real concerned, blah blah blah, and then Rich just kind of got a little counseling session with him. He's like, hey man, like rub some dirt in it. We're going out there.
Yeah,
yeah. It's just a different. It's the way I was raised. It was kind of like.
And I think Roman's similar. Like Roman likes to fight. Like he wanted to be out there and he wanted to do what he could do, and like obviously you could see that.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to touch this, but I don't know the actual answer, but I think I do. He went out on the podium with a Mayhem flag.
Yeah,
which I thought was insane,
awesome.
Right? And a bunch of haters are like, "Oh, what, did they even offer him a Russian one?" To my knowledge, they did. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm honored that he did that and proud of him for.
He literally, like from him, it says, "I've got his quote is like, that's my team, and that's what I wanted to represent."
Yeah, it's incredible.
And so I won't speak to like his politics or anything, but yes, he made that choice. People are like, "Oh, he didn't actually have a choice," and you're like, "Yeah, he did."
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I'm not 100% sure either, but at the opening ceremony,
he was given the option.
There were two options. So him and Arthur Semenov, they came out with a CrossFit flag maybe, but there was a contingent of athletes that came out, I believe, with a Russian flag.
Okay.
I do think I read Castro's post and said that he was given the decision what flag he wanted to carry, and he chose. Yeah. He chose what flag he wanted to carry.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think, like I said, honored that he felt.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, that's cool.
I mean, we're behind him 100% because, I mean, the dude he's a good human being.
Yeah. What a long road, bro.
Man.
Like, forget about the broken foot. Think about the visa issues and you know what I mean? And getting here.
Like, not being with his son when he was born and not being with his son for like the last 6 months.
Or the uncertainty of what's going on at your home, so.
Can you go home ever? Or and I know that I think his end goal is to live in the U.S. I think that's what he wants to do. So I don't know how or when he's going to be able to make that happen, but yeah.
I mean, we've belabored kind of the men's side and because, the fight was at the top with Roman and just what went on there. But Laura, incredible weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was cool. And if anybody says, oh, it's because so-and-so wasn't there, who gives it?
Who cares?
You won the CrossFit Games. There's physical, there's emotional, all of that goes into fitness. And so I think,
you can't take anything away from her. She won.
Laura freaking won the games.
Amen.
It was incredible. Emma Lawson did incredible.
She was a beast, man.
So young.
Really surprising. I mean, not surprising, but
not
surprising, I guess, a little bit, I guess. Just she did really well.
What about Ariel Lowen? How incredible is that? Like, relatively unknown until the last 2 years. And then
2 years ago,
and then third or something like that?
She said, I think 2 years ago, she wanted to go to Granite Games because she wanted the sign with her name on it to hang in her garage.
now she's a third bronze medal.
And she does. She trains in her garage, right?
She trains in her garage.
Right? Didn't she come out?
She came out for the athlete camp.
And she just her training schedule compared to like some of the athletes that I see, fairly mellow, like real down to earth. Like
I may be making a little bit of story up, but I think she used to babysit Kennedy when she was a kid, right?
One of our members at the gym, a good friend of ours, Jennifer and Marlon.
Yep,
they're from where she's from.
No
way! To babysit Kennedy.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, she's good people.
Super proud of Paige.
Paige, man, top 10.
Top 10, fought for it all freaking weekend, and then finished out strong.
Keeps talking about how she didn't reach the goal that she wanted to reach.
Who said that?
Paige.
Oh man, top 10. That's incredible.
That's incredible.
20 years old, like, you know,
I feel like that's the shot she called.
I mean, I know she wanted. I guess she wanted to be on the podium or win. Obviously,
yeah,
like everyone wants to do that.
Everybody wants to
but
do
top 10 is really
top 10
good.
Is solid, especially at
Super
20
good.
years old.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not, and maybe I don't see all the behind the scenes. I'm sure I don't. But every time that I saw her, two things about Paige. One is like her composure whenever you see her at the event, and maybe she just put on a brave face, but kudos for that too. For as a young person,
Yeah.
she was very well kept together. It seems like when she's off the competition floor.
Yeah.
And then I got to give a shout out to Laura and Kevin, her parents, because
they're the best.
they put together at least 3 of our pit boss girls.
Oh, nice.
Like they just showed up, and I'm like, hey, you guys don't have to do this. And they're like, put us to work, man. So amazing family.
Cool.
Bailey did incredible. You know, she sent me a freaking apology about, you know, how she disgraced them. And I'm like,
Oh my gosh. Shut up.
You finished 29th in the world at semifinals, snuck in on the last spot.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Didn't even want to compete this year.
Yeah.
Like mentally just not in, you know, like it's a grind. And for her to come out and finish, shut up.
I love a million things about Bailey, but one of the things too is like this argument of like the bigger female and whatever is like, it's amazing to me what she can do. Cause I forget which show it was, but we were looking at the programming. People were like, oh, this is big people workouts. And we said, well, most women are big nowadays in terms of who do well at CrossFit. She was one standout. Or there was 2 standouts and she was one of them.
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy. And then Vic, super proud of her, you know, like battling some stuff early on with heat and cramping and whatever. So, you know, all of our Mayhem athletes, like I said, super proud of them on the individual side. On the men's side, you know, oldest is it Lazar did great.
Lazar was top 10.
Lazar's top 10 again
oldest
for the
20th,
third time.
I think.
Yeah, oldest was like
great.
Oldest I was talking with him.
Happiest dude ever.
He was, and he's like,
smile every time.
He goes, I made the cut.
Yeah,
like,
he was just happy.
He goes, I'm pretty beat up and tired, but I guess I'm gonna show up and work out again tomorrow.
he was preparing to get last.
Yeah, that's what he said. Lift. Just mentally preparing to get last. Sam,
hold on. Can we talk about Lazar on the bike?
Oh my God, he's a hazard, is what I heard. I don't know if it's. I just think
Scott has some footage of Luke wrecking into
the Luke incident. I know for a fact because I was 3 feet away from Luke's bike when it almost hit me.
Yep.
And I have slow motion footage of him crashing himself into Lazar.
Okay.
Yeah, Luke initiated contact. I saw that too.
I can say without a doubt, I have video proof. Luke that crash was on Luke. The stuff with Medeiros and Lazar, I can't speak to. I didn't see it.
But what's funny is, you know, I heard, you know, he had Lazar had a crash with Luke. Lazar had 2 crashes with Medeiros, and then I guess he had one with Sam right at the end.
Sam,
I don't know.
Sam was mad at about something at some point.
What Luke told me, and I don't know how true this is, but he said that right at the end, Lazar and Sam crashed, and he said Sam was cussing Lazar on his way down to the ground.
No. That was with Medeiros.
That was with Medeiros? Oh, okay.
Oldest told a good story in our BTS video.
Who did?
Oldest, about how he had to dodge them, and he said if he hit Lazar on his way down, he said that would be the end for him.
It stayed fiery for a while, right? Like people want to know this stuff, but like the best part,
Cash tried to break him up.
Did it make the cut though?
Kind of.
He was talking to Sam.
I was talking to Sam.
You have this?
Justin
just see
was
Lazar
to the left talking to the dot crew, and Lazar comes in the background and he's like screaming at Justin, and Sam is like, "Hey, bro, that's racing." That he tries to diffuse the situation a little bit, stops talking to me and tries to diffuse it.
You have this?
Yes.
Oh, I need to see it so much.
But he's too professional, so he stayed on Sam for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, give me like an office giveaway, you know?
You're like,
I believe that the 2 of them have since done a handshake and worked it out.
But you can't this is right after the race.
Yeah, it was right after.
Dude,
the race.
Emotions are high. Like you're pissed. You think that guy ran into you and tried to take you out.
Roman's racing, man.
Yeah, agreed. I haven't seen confrontation like that I can think of readily, ever. So I thought I was like, oh, really?
I know one. I'm not going to bring it up, but I know one.
With individuals
team stuff? Team.
Okay.
I know one. I won't bring it. I don't want to bring it up. It's not. It has nothing to do with me.
Was it this year?
No, it's
last
old.
year.
It's old.
Like old?
Just give us
old.
a year.
Was I there?
Just give us a year and the first 3 letters of the first name.
Oh,
was that part of it?
Yeah. I mean, you had
games.
Yeah, you're part of it. No.
Did I do something?
No.
Oh,
No.
right.
You guys are fighting back.
Was this at semis?
Yeah.
With Ryan?
Your shirt is uncancelable, bro. Come on.
Just say it.
Okay. When
sorry,
the Maxis people were yelling at your guys' girls for not getting low enough.
Yeah.
There was, I mean, it was like almost a fist fight in the back. It was awesome.
They were coming into our lane and yelling at our judge, OC3 and Maximus,
saying that those are no reps.
Aren't getting depth and whatever. And it got pretty rowdy after.
And like afterwards, the warm area, like they started. It was like because I was coaching Dre.
Crying.
Yeah, I was coaching Dre, and I'm just watching all unfold.
He was apologizing.
Okay,
so it was. I mean, it all turned out okay, but yeah, it was pretty heated for a while.
Oh, it was heated.
Yeah, they're yelling at our judge about our reps
to say that they don't count.
Yeah,
like,
it was bad.
Those are no reps. What are you doing?
I do that every day with my training partner.
I mean, you look here, Sam. Sam's the only real outlier in a lot of this. Like, Sam. Fitness potential, something, his back got super tight and whatever.
Yeah.
And, we talked a little bit about this. He's not happy with that spot. And I think he'd be fine with me saying, like,
he was very upset.
I feel like 22nd is not what Sam is.
I agree.
Mentally, I don't know if he has some, I look at some of these events and I'm like, Sam would have crushed that.
Yeah,
and so it's just weird to me because he is such an incredible teammate last year.
Yeah.
Like, what do I need to do? And do it. And sometimes when he gets into some of this, like you just see his head goes a different place.
Yeah.
And so if I'm looking at this leaderboard, I'd say, that's pretty accurate. I would have said, minor things we could have changed. Luke Parker making a cut, huge.
Really
I would have said Luke maybe even make
especially with what was wrong with him.
Yeah, even the second cut, I would have I wouldn't have been surprised if Luke would have been top 20.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sam up top 10 easily, top 5 probably, even on the fighting for the podium.
Yeah.
That's where I would have put Sam before this. Like I said, Luke, I would have moved him top 20 with some of these, like him under the lights, games events. Luke got 5 stitches and kept what says a lot about Luke and who he is. Luke got 5 stitches in between event 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And still crushed the week. That for me, fires me up. Like I want guys like that.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt on it, patch me up. And
and
it was like right on the
kneecap, right on his kneecap.
That
he did 100 wall balls right after he got 5 stitches on his kneecap.
That means more to me than an overall place.
Without a doubt. And I think Luke's whole story.
Yeah.
Like when he showed up here and you were like, man, it'd be fun to work out with you, but you're not going to games.
This is not a knock at Hopper whatsoever. You look at the same competition those two were in 2 years ago, Mac.
Yeah.
Hopper wins.
Just destroyed him.
Luke is
16th, I think. Yeah.
And look at that leaderboard right there. That says a lot to Luke and his trajectory and what he's done. Super fired up about that. Vigneault, I love Alex. He competed. We were looking back, me and Dan were looking back at one of the invitationals, and you see Vigneault there. And like 2015, 16, whatever it was,
been around
when
for
we
a
were
long
in Madrid.
time.
I've known he's been kind of one of our athletes, but never asks for anything, never comes down here. This was the first summer that he actually came down here, so it's cool to see him.
Too.
Yeah, and heck yeah, and I think him being in a different environment and actually being around a bunch of us and training on a regular, I think he would do really well. But super proud of him, this is the top 40 CrossFitters in the world.
Yeah.
So
I think what's cool about Vigneault too, sorry, I was just confirming, sometimes I mix it up with COMM, which is not cool. But he's like you. Like he's
a full-time cop.
Yeah. And there was a really cool, it was another Castro post that Christine had written, but it was like, who is this dude? Like he disappears and he's back on leaderboard, back on leaderboard. He's a working man.
Yeah.
And still manages to
make it to the games and do well. Yeah.
I will say if we kind of button up the leaderboard, the only thing for me programming wise, I'll stand by this, and I said it over the course of the weekend too. I was waiting for a water event, man. And I really I hate leaving Madison without doing that portage event. That's very specific, but never having gotten to the water.
I don't think it took away anything.
No, I don't think so either.
Your endurance. I like water events just because I'm good at swimming now.
Yeah.
And it's so hot that in the summer I feel like you need a swimming event. I don't.
In a nerdy way, though,
it's
I would love to.
Since 2011.
Well, hey, here's your crown, fittest man on earth. I don't know if you can swim or not, but here it is. Yeah. And we've seen these guys do things in the past, like you said. It's all been validated.
Yeah, but you could also say, well, we didn't do cross country skiing, or if you want to say fittest on earth,
you could.
What I would have loved to seen in Madison, and it's the capital of triathlons, I think.
Yeah.
Riding, obviously because I was riding a ton. I was on the bike paths and did the lake loop. That would have been such a cool event.
Yeah.
Because people know if you go to Madison, you do the lake loop. It is what it is, and it's such a cool. It could have been the only misses in Madison that we never did was a triathlon.
Yeah.
You know, like it could have been a cool event.
Yep.
So
biathlon, right?
Yep.
No triathlon.
No
I do think they I'm the same as you. I wish we would have swam
takes
because
nothing away from the test.
I don't think
I
it
just
did.
would have liked to seen us swim.
No.
It doesn't. And you won't find a bigger Pat Vellner fan than me, but like someone like Pat Vellner, you know what I mean? Like it's cool to see their progress over time, or how it could have shaken up the leaderboard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it changes the whole leaderboard.
Right.
I'm just
There
saying.
was Brian Friend did an article on how a swim would have changed the past years, like took the swim out of past years. And the only year it was really significant was in 2017, Cara Webb would have won the games, that's the one significant thing. Like there were some shakeups. The ladies had less shakeups than the guys, I think, but it was more in the middle and at the bottom. It wasn't, it was never the top except for that one.
Like we always say, the programming for the top 10 or so, 5
Doesn't
maybe.
really
It
matter,
depends
yeah.
at the games, top
Yeah.
10. At semifinals, top 5. Shouldn't really matter that
Correct.
much.
No.
So
And like we said about the Jeff Adler Roman show at the very end, like where it was going to be a race between those guys to win. Like Scott said, like the points, it was those guys racing. The longer you get in the weekend, the more the best separate. And like by Sunday, you're racing a couple people around you. You're not racing the whole leaderboard anymore. Like the first day,
you're playing a
racing
game, and that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
tell Roman is like, hey, now you're playing a game, and he did that well. Until,
just try to
stuff happened. So 2 is 1 and 1 is none. The Airwave Mayhem Hybrid Pack gives you 1 HIIT mouthpiece and 1 endurance mouthpiece in our traditional Mayhem blue, so you're covered no matter the sport. 1 innovative technology, 2 performance-driven designs. For podcast listeners only, get the Mayhem Hybrid Pack 15% off at www.airwave.com/Froning.
Well, let me talk about the only thing that I saw a lot of, which was vibes. And for me, I thought I can't even put my finger on it. And I spent more time in the RV campground than I did even in the competition area. But for me, this CrossFit Games, like the conversations I had, the people I ran into, the stories we saw, and the competition itself.
It was great.
It
was awesome.
Felt fantastic. It felt like a surge back on ESPN. It felt really good.
You know, it was the first games I've ever actually really watched. You know, it was fun. Like I had a ton. Everybody's like, "Oh, do you miss it?" And I'm like, "No, not actually at all." You know, I kind of enjoyed watching.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching the teams and thinking through that stuff. I enjoyed, being analytical and thinking about while I'm watching these events, having our athletes in there. Man, it was a cool experience for me being out in the campground. Man, Mayhem, as far as like Josh and all you guys behind the scenes getting all that going it was incredible. 37 days from the time we found out that we were going to sponsor the campground. Everybody wants to freak out that we're a camp that's sponsoring the event, but we just sponsored the community side on the outside.
We didn't touch any programming.
Nothing for games, nothing for any of that stuff. And man, Josh and the whole team just freaking and members that showed up and like Stevie Goldie, South, Revo, Jeff, like I can't like name them all, Shane, everybody. It was just incredible to see everybody just volunteering their time, you know, like Jason cooking 90-something biscuits.
Over 1,200 pounds.
Yes, 1,200 pounds of meat. Like that was cool.
That was, there was the community at large and like a health of the sport thing, totally the right direction. And then just being a part of Mayhem and seeing that like volunteers who just broke their backs.
Absolutely.
The whole,
just step in.
The whole staff who stepped up.
Oh, let me help out.
Yes.
Yeah, and our staff
stepped up and did something.
Working their butt off, media guys,
that,
not sleeping 1 hour.
That quote that was in Castro's post about Roman was actually, he said it to you and me, which was that it was the most on-brand activation that he saw at the CrossFit Games because it was true. It's like, we would have been parked there anyways, right? Like those RVs.
Exactly.
Those
RVs
RVs would be there.
And then, dude, and the best comment I ever heard all weekend was it was like a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It was so efficient. The classes, Josh had classes on the 30 minutes. I'm like, Josh, ain't no way, 1, you're going to get a good workout. 2, that you're going to be able to keep them on the 30 minutes. And they did from 7 a.m. till 5, and then sometimes 6:30, and then they had a limit on the number of people, and they're like, Josh is like, let's keep going.
We doubled it by
you want to work
Saturday.
out? Come on. And then we did CrossFit activations in the spectator area. Josh was like, 20 people, I can take 40. And then by the end, he was like, oh, I got 60. So he's running 60-person classes. He wanted a 100-person class. And they were like,
slight tweak on that.
Yeah.
They asked him.
Oh,
because the demand was high.
Yeah.
It was so high. They were like, could you do 40? And next, could you do 60?
Yeah.
And then when they asked for 80, he's like, just give me 100.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we can't do that.
It was impressive.
But it was
everybody's a rock star.
Highly successful year in that sense,
and then
too.
he cried on our live stream. So
Josh did.
That was
got a little emotional.
Well, I knew it was coming, and I kind of teed him up for it.
Oh yeah.
And like the best part of it was watching Rich react to his reaction.
I can't do it,
dude. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw Roman, I want to say, I don't know if it was during. I think it was during his interview. I even like teared up a little bit, just him talking about his son, like him just wanting to go out there. Like it was like. And we were all in the athlete area, and like we were getting ready to do our last event, and everyone's just crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't good. We gotta turn this off.
Can't close that loop without. I think they're unsung heroes. It's easy to miss because they're always on your hip and they're just basically part of you. But like these dudes.
Oh, that's what I said. I said media. I said
media.
Okay.
I didn't hear that.
1 hour sleep. 1 hour sleep. Like. Those guys crushed it. So
I think, and I say this with a biased point of view because I'm part of the Mayhem family, but in terms of hustle and quality, they're completely peerless. Like some people wait and they put out a quality that's similar, and some people get it out faster. But the mix of the two is absolutely like there's no one in the business doing it.
The amount of comments that we get that's people say, even on Instagram or YouTube, I'll see this is the best stuff. Like, I'm not calling anyone out, but CrossFit can't touch this. Like your media is the best. Like people are just like over and over and over again. Like we always like talk about like the shitty comments where people are just talking crap on there. But like the amount of I'd say 90% actually of the comments are like, dude, this is the best content in CrossFit. Like over and over and over again.
And to ruin Scott's day, I will say that I'm biased towards this too personally, but like I thought the live shows were freaking really fun.
Yeah, they were
having
fun,
have an audience and like people get interact with.
We did the
giveaways.
Mic situation.
I loved
the one
too.
bad thing about the internet.
Well, technical stuff.
Here's what happened with the mic situation.
Let me explain myself.
Cord, right?
Two things happened. One, it would have been perfect the whole time had we remembered a cord. And that's just, it's on me to some extent. Like we had packing issues and we were trying to put out a Road to the Games video like the day we left. And so packing the day before while editing for 12 hours was tough.
Yeah.
But also we found out the last day when it was perfect. So we were hooked up to the internet, but somehow the laptop was pulling from the Wi-Fi. Oh, no. So the first 3 days, the audio would have been much better had we had the right network.
Probably that wireless mic situation wasn't ideal though either.
No, but I think it would have been okay because a lot of it was like an internet issue.
The Wi-Fi.
Because we weren't on the Ethernet, we were on
I still liked that it was such a mess. It's like, did you see the first one?
Yeah.
It was like, hey, everybody come up and grab one of these cups. It's like people all over the place and just going nuts.
It was perfect. I'm happy we did it.
Yeah, no, I think it was great.
We had enough stuff we could just like give away random stuff again.
My only knock was the one night when we started at 8:30 or something. This is such a bad idea, but it is what it is.
Also, back to the media thing, I hope that CrossFit was happy with us, Craig Ritchie, Buttery Bros,
having
HWPO
access because it helps everybody.
Yeah, because this year we had the access to do what we did, and so a huge shout out to them because we couldn't have done those videos like so well without that access.
Right.
And I'm hoping that they were happy with everything that came out from all the camps and those other guys.
Yeah, because I think it shows the community side of it, that tells the athlete story. It shouldn't be a takeaway from CrossFit HQ. It should add to what they're doing.
Yeah, because the complaint every year is, hey, we only hear from the top 3 athletes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we have interest in more than the top 3 athletes, and so do the fans. And so
like 2 years ago, this is nitpicky, I guess, but 2 years ago they put out the documentary, and I don't even know what it was called. Like it was talking about the young athletes, and like the only young athlete in it is Medeiros. Like, it's it. Like they don't have any other rookies or anyone else who's like under 25. Like there's so many. This is when Mao was there and Emma Carey was there, Haley was there. Like all these young girls that people want to hear from, they're not in it. Like, what the heck?
Well, and I mean, look, the truth of it is like whatever happened since 2017, like they built it up. Like those not necessarily our platform because Rich has been building that for over a decade, but like the Craig Ritchies and the Buttery Bros and that happened, and you can't just pull the plug on it. No. Like now you need it, and I do think it adds a whole nother dimension that people really want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teams. Let's talk teams. Angelo, since you have the most kind of skin in the game on these, you can probably talk. I'll just talk from me as an athlete. Only 2 events on Saturday. Pretty hard events though. Like
it was good.
Quad,
it was good.
Quad heavy for sure. You getting to do the version of last year's workout.
It was a little different. Yeah,
right?
We were supposed to do 1 regular, 1 legless.
Okay, last year?
Yeah.
And this year was 2
this year
legless?
Ski and 1 legless.
Oh, and just 1 legless.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it supposed to be ski last year? I don't even remember.
Instead of they changed it to the ski. It was supposed to be a regular rope climb. I don't know how they were going to do the rope climbs. I think it was you do a regular rope climb while the girl does legless, and then you switch. Okay. So they just changed it for a ski. That's the only thing they changed. Okay. Which, what do you think about it?
I mean, I think it was good. You guys won. So
yeah,
I was good with it.
We won. We got no coverage because we had to come from behind win. They had the camera.
The bad part about this whole deal is we were doing stuff over the camp, and then I'm like, all right, let's go watch the teams, and then the individuals will start.
Yeah.
And we got there, and the individuals had just started, and I'm like, oh crap, we missed the teams. And then Angelo texts me and goes, "We won in case you missed it." And I was like, I feel like almost like a bad dad.
Man, I did it on purpose because I got a bunch of texts. People were like, text me, and I'm like, hey, he hasn't texted me or said anything, and I text him, hey, just in case you're wondering, we won.
I was getting freaking run ragged that first day. I didn't even know what I was ready for, I was like, oh, I felt like bad dad.
We still didn't.
Hey, Dad, in case you didn't notice, I got 100 on my test.
For.
It was perfect. It hit home. I was like, missed it.
And to Rich's credit, we had all the cheat codes. We could call for like a little buggy would come pick you up, take you exactly the right spot. He's like, man, I don't want to take advantage. I don't want to make a sideshow. And I was like, okay, but let's do it anyway.
We rode our bikes over there.
Yeah.
Got stuck at the bike check
and we saw a bike, and I go, that's Rich's bike for sure.
Yeah, Thursday was logistically the hardest day ever.
Which way?
Just figuring out.
For you
because
guys
of
too,
the team.
especially.
Yeah, and I don't think they really could have done it any differently, but how teams and individuals overlapped for large chunks of time.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even see their first event, because I was still at the individual one.
Yeah. Scott came running up to me after the bike event. He's like, I haven't sat down in 4 hours. He said, I've been filming nonstop.
It was more than 4 hours. It was probably 6 or 7 or 8. And I don't even know what's going on right now. I was about to eat for the first time, and Rich did his Rich tax and took half of my protein bar.
Right before, out of your protein
right before the event.
Such a whiner, you and Ben.
I was so hungry.
That workout was really good.
Yeah, I liked it. I like the emphasis being on the legless.
When I saw it, I thought it needed 2 legless. It did not need.
That was it was the final female, right?
Oh,
that was the whole workout basically.
I mean, like I was gonna say, there's 8 intervals basically, and on round 7 and round 8. On round 7, we were the first ones to the bar and got the most reps, and we were in 5th before then. We made a huge jump up, and we were tied for 2nd. And then me and Cairo were finishing. Sam, as we finish I'm kipping my last legless, and if I'm kipping a legless, they're hard legless.
Yeah, because Angelo is one of the best legless you've ever met.
And I'm going down, I finish it, and I'm smashed. And he goes, you guys are 1 rep behind 2nd or 1st, whatever he said. He goes, you got to go. Sam, he's yelling it because he can see the leaderboard. And so we run over there. We're the first ones to the bar. They have a little overview for a second, and they go back to what Proven's doing. They're like, Proven's got this one locked up, and these girls trained with Rich for a while, so they're pretty good. And then it's just a camera on them failing rope climbs. Them and I don't know if it was Tim or if it was the girl or whatever it was. And the round before that, they had it on Invictus, and Josh fails a rope climb. Meanwhile, we're doing the whole workout. We're taking the lead. And they put the camera on Move Fast, Live Heavy, who comes to the bar almost with the same time as us. Me and Kyra are pumping through over at squats because we think we're still in a race, and we have it locked up by several reps at this point. They go, well, yeah, Move Fast is going to win this one. And then you see our name jump on the leaderboard, and we're first place by 5 reps. And then they go, well, I guess Mayhem Independence won. And I'm like, come on.
Angelo's moment's gone.
So that was funny. That was that was really fun. Wearing the leader's jersey was fun. I didn't want to take it off. Unfortunately, we did.
Did you get to keep it? You still have it?
Yeah, I still have it.
Good.
But
at least you got to take it home.
I said I
heard.
What?
You have to rip this thing off me, or you're gonna have to cut it.
No, not
he
that.
He said it to you.
Yeah.
Not that. Well, I was gonna say whenever Sam comes back, we had that snatch off a couple weeks ago, and I beat him. And so, next time he comes and we do a workout, I'll put my leader shorts on and come. A workout I think I can beat him on, and I would show up in my leader shorts. Or maybe I'll put them on after the workout. I'll just keep them in my bag, and just as soon as I beat him in the workout, I'll put them on. The ride relay was really, really, really hard. It was so hot, no shade. I was soaking wet because every time I'd finish, I would pour a bottle of water on my head. But I think I liked our version probably more than the individuals because it was just, you're just hammering more people out there.
I wish there was a better tie break. Wasn't there like a huge gap?
Yeah, huge log jam on that.
Scoring loops or something.
I think if you had 8 laps, you could win. We had 7 laps, and we took 17th. Yeah. So it was just.
But there was a huge tie at 17th.
It's like a huge. There's. I think. I want to say places 5 through 25th had 7 laps.
Yeah.
And then your tie break changed that. So I didn't really like that part. But the first day I thought was a really good day.
Just do a certain amount of laps for time. But I liked it.
And Sam peed on your bike.
Sam peed on your bike.
Sam peed on the bike. Yeah. Sam, he finished his lap, pissed himself, and then got back on the bike. And then he told me afterwards, I go, so I rode with my ass in your puddle of piss.
That's one of the funniest parts of that whole video was you and who was next to you? I don't remember. But you had the realization that you sat in that.
Yeah.
Saw his face in real time.
Yeah.
The lift. The lift went really.
Was what it was.
I mean, it went really well for us. Yeah, super good. Everyone made all their lifts. I know the girls were happy, but for me and Sam for sure, I feel like we pushed the envelope. I snatched 275, my best ever is 280. I clean jerked 325, my best ever is 325.
There you go.
Nice.
And Sam was pretty close to his. Was at the same on his numbers too. So we were all really happy with that. Top 10 for a heavy lifting event for us is really good.
Cross country, I think you guys did great. Yeah. I don't love a single modality test.
I didn't like that you run as a team
on the weakest person, link. Yeah, it really. I mean, most workouts are going to come down to who your slowest member is anyways. But I just don't love especially a single modality run that. I just don't love it.
I mean, last year, and I guess the overview of all this is that every workout in here, or most of them anyways, look exactly like they did last year, and I didn't like that part.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So, the first workout.
Yep.
Well, I'll do it afterwards, and I'll pick them apart.
The bike row hard hold was only about the machines.
Only about the machines.
You can cycle the machines because one person was technically working while the other 3 were resting. I mean, you are doing some type of hold. But I don't feel like the holds were that demanding.
It wasn't.
That was literally. I mean, you see it in proven destroying everybody because it was all about the machine, and those are the 4 best people on machines.
When we got towards the end, I think we all did really well in this workout. I was really nervous for my freestanding handstands. Sometimes they're inconsistent. On the second round on the first bike, I came down after 3 seconds, and I was holding for Sam, and we need him to be on the bike. And so I got on the bike, and I'm like, all right, buddy, you're Sam now. You got a hammer. So I got on and I hammered that bike. And even I was okay to hammer it because I was getting a good rest. Last bike, I hop on. I think it was at 72 calories. We had to do 100. And I was like, I'm just going to rip through it, get as far as I can. And if I can just what'll happen is I think that Kyra's going to have to come down on the handstand and we're going to switch. So I hammer. I'm at 1,200 watts for a long time. And then it's a good increase, and then I peak for a second, and it drops, and I'm biking 500. And we had the rule that the people resting would yell at the person holding. If it looks ugly, yell at them to switch. And I get to 91 calories, and no one's doing anything. And I mean, I am crawling, feeling like I'm in cement. I come off the bike before Kyra comes off her handstand, and I'm I try to yell at them. I go, tell her to stop, and nothing comes out. I go, and then nothing came out, and I just hop off the bike, and I went over to push Kyra over, and I stumble back. You can see it on the live feed. I just stumble back to the rest area, and they finish. I lay down on the podium. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, that was I don't love team workouts that are literally just one person sprinting on a machine. I hate that, but.
It still was a decent workout, but I like the seated muscle up, the seated muscle up idea to the ring support instead of just jumping up to the rings. Yeah. It added a little bit of difficulty to it.
Run, lift, relay. I thought that was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was mind-boggling. There was a team that the guy was squat snatching 185 and missing.
I squat snatched the last couple.
But he was
all of them
and missing.
Dude.
I bet your legs are just fried.
Royce went the heat.
No hamstrings.
Royce went the heat before me, and I go, singles, huh? And I didn't know what he had done, but he goes, dude, if you can touch to go that, I'll give you a gold medal. And he said, he did 15. He squat snatched the last few. And when I got out there, I think I did 9 or 10 power.
Yeah, and
then I squatted a couple. I went for my 13th, miss it, and I have like 5 seconds. I've fallen back. I put my hands in the bar and I just dive under it. Butthole touches the ground, and it takes me like 5 seconds to get out of the bottom, but it counted.
That's awesome.
That was a really cool
That was
workout.
the last event Torian did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where Brandon really did his shoulder.
Yeah,
his elbow.
Elbow.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen what they could have done.
Yeah, me too.
Brandon being healthy.
They were a really
good team. So I hate that. Muscle Up Bob.
Super cool workout.
Heavy? Bob, heavy?
Bob was, it was a little heavier than what we pushed last year in the skill thing, or the strongman medley thing.
Okay.
It was a little heavier than that.
But you only pushed it 126. Oh, you had
and then every round we start pushing it back. I actually really liked that workout. The muscle ups were the rest, but by round 3, like I was hurting bad. Like I needed the muscle. The muscle ups weren't there. It would have gotten ugly. It is a lot of worm clean jerks. 45.
It's mostly worm clean jerks. Huh?
It was the bob at the end was hard, but it was hard because of so much worm clean and jerk. Yeah.
From worm clean jerks.
There were a lot of teams that pushed. Not a lot, but there were a few teams in our heat that pushed the entire distance unbroken at the start, the 126 feet, and crash and burn. Like,
oh yeah, I told you. Like, remember what I told you? You're like, hey, how do I break it up? I said the Bob will let you know when you break it up.
Yeah. And I said that to Kyra, and she's like, really? You want to break up that much? I'm like, it ain't about the first Bob push at all.
No.
Like you
yes,
just
it
get
is.
Yes, it
if
is.
You bury yourself. It
yeah.
is.
I look at them. We push to the first line and stop, and they're kind of like, oh, like getting ready to go again. I go, listen, you're not going to win the workout here, but you can lose it. And then we started pushing again. We stop, push again, and then we get to the muscle ups. It's kind of a wash at that point already. That was a really, really good workout. I feel like I really like the back half of the weekend games more than the front half.
This event 1 and this event are the 2 that I didn't really get to watch. I saw some of it. You said Sam basically just his back died.
Yeah, and I
think you get screwed by the synchro, the axle with 4 people. Whoever's on the outside is just getting
screwed. And it was
if the bar does this thing, you're okay. But as soon as it hits flush,
dude, no.
Oh, really?
When it was a little bit. It was random reps. Like I felt like if we did sets of 3, which we did more than that, but if we were doing sets of 3, 2 or clean, 1 was bad. 2 or clean, 1 was bad.
No repped a lot or
no? We got a few that were really confusing. I don't even know why. None of us really knew why. But he wouldn't count a rep until we went down for the next rep. Oh, so like you had to set it down. Yeah. So we went down to set it down.
Oh, you did singles?
No. You had to set it down. You had to set it down after your set.
Gotcha. Okay.
You couldn't drop it just because it was dangerous.
So he wouldn't count it till it would hit.
So yeah, we set it down on the 21st rep, and everyone started to walk away. And he said we had 1 more, and we're like, you got to count it at the top, not at the bottom. Yeah. But he was waiting to see if we dropped it to call it a no rep. Gotcha. I guess.
Okay. But back just got blown up on this one.
Yeah, and it was a miscommunication between Sam and I. Like, it's hard to train that, but I have long arms and I grip narrow. Sam has short arms and he was gripping wide. So he was pulling way higher than everyone else. So the last 3 or 4 inches, he was pulling alone. And he was pulling alone like this, because he's on one side. So after the set of 21, his back was smashed.
We got that axle bar. I didn't even think about.
Well, yeah. We'll do it for sure now. But but when we were in sync, it felt like 135. Like, I mean, because it's 200 pounds each. Like, it felt like a 205 deadlift. But then it was so easy.
Like a 315.
Oh, dude. I go, Sam, were there a few reps that you were pulling 405 on your own? Like, I pulled this side and he's pulling that side all by our own on this hand. Yeah. The sandbag squats were nuts. They were so hard. It was so heavy. It was 2159 of them. They were so heavy. It was incredible. It was incredibly hard.
Yeah.
It was very humbling.
Good team workout though.
Yeah, that was a good team workout. I thought it was a really, really good workout. Just the synchro deadlift and the synchro sandbag squat in the same workout was a little much on the lower back. Like, we did almost the same amount of reps as the individuals did with the bag, but theirs was paired with ski.
Yeah, yours was
deadlift.
Yeah, it's a little different. Bob's a drag. This was a cool event to watch.
Yeah,
I will say I loved the foot thing that was made.
I thought it was
this
really
was cool. Individuals too. I look back at like 2014, me and Bridges, and we're like pushing sandbags and they're all sliding. And like, there's no real clear finish line. It's kind of like, you know,
if it touches, you're good.
That's good enough. Go.
Yeah, like my finish line or so and so's finish line's up here because the bag moved a couple feet.
And the sleds are in the way.
Yeah, it's just little details like that. So I thought that was really cool.
Really
looked
cool.
like a cool event.
Getting up and over the logs was fun.
Yep, you could kind of follow along with the carries, the traverse. Like it was cool.
Moving.
The bob was
really
moving.
Cool workout.
I thought this was a really cool event. Victus smashed it. I mean, they smashed.
Yeah, they really did good.
It was impressive. Happy for them.
Yeah,
I love the teams on this one where some guy or whoever would get down on all fours and a teammate would jump off of their back.
That was kind of cool. I didn't think about that.
What was this, Sunday? Was I doing? I was somewhere watching this event on a TV while I was. Oh, it was
by the camper.
No, because it was a
Mayhem Mission,
some type of
probably.
activation. It was a Mayhem Mission devotional.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to talk about Jesus and trying to watch the screen, you know, like just to see. Because at that point, it was kind of a two team race. Invictus had a pretty big lead.
Yeah.
It was a 3-team race, but so yeah, that was cool. And then the earth. What do they? Did they call it the earthworm?
Yeah, the earthworm.
You said earlier that it was hard, but not much harder than the normal worm.
Yeah.
Because you're used to, like, Kyra's shorter than you guys.
I'm used to a shorter person beside me.
Yeah, so you have to
taking
kind of
more
carry
load.
Most of the worm. But I like to see, you know, like some of those teams that normally, you know, with the worm, like it just gets out of sync.
Yeah.
And this
really exposed that.
Yeah, so.
I liked everything about the last day. For it was my favorite day. I liked the last North Park event, and I liked that handstand worm thing. The 92-foot unbroken was cool. Like the nervousness I had before. Like I know I can handstand walk 96.
Wait, what went down on that? Like some collisions.
Yeah, Zoe.
The standard was what? Because you could just basically, as soon as the person in front of you was gone,
yeah.
you could
So
kick
as
up.
soon as there's a lot of standard, I won't even get into like how they were judging this, but essentially you all four have to handstand walk all the way down unbroken. You know, kick up before the red line, kick down after. So he kicked down with just a little bit of her palm on that red line, comes down like and is in total shock, freaked out because handstand walk isn't hard for her, but she's not great at 100-foot unbroken. I mean, none of us really are. And she was a little nervous before to do that, and she looked at us, and like me and Sam don't know what to say. Like we both saw it clearly. Her hand was on the line. We're like, just go back. And she goes back, and Kyra's behind her, so she has to go back too.
They both have to go back?
They both had to go back. And me and Sam are like, oh no. And they go back there.
Or no, what was I doing at this point? I think I was downstairs with Roman.
Dude, they go back, and like you know how like you're like, I need to go again. They go all the way back, and me and Sam are already talking. They need to rest like a long time. So he like does one of these numbers and ready to kick up. We're like, no, do not kick up. Wait like a full minute. And she did, and they both were fine for the rest of the way. Kyra got to like the last 5 feet on the way back, stops at the line, takes a few steps back, and just like is shaking. And I mean, my heart rate is 220. And then she finally gets over the line, comes down, and like
and she's in a hole from there.
Yeah, we're all just like, okay, at least we can use our fitness now. Like we're not getting stuck by some stupid rule.
Who was it that didn't make it? One of the girls,
Kelsey Keel.
Yeah, it was awful to watch.
Because the first couple times she was really, really close, and then after that it just gets worse and worse. You're walking 100 feet unbroken every time. Yeah. Once you walk 3 or 4,
I think it's great.
I really like it.
You should be able to walk 100 feet on your hands.
I really like it.
It should be a challenge. You should be able to.
It was challenging, but I was more challenged by my nerves. Yeah. Just thinking about, oh man, if you come down, you got to do it again. You blew it. And it was fine. Like me and Sam were totally fine on it. Then the worm was a really cool implement. I thought it was really fun. It was super, super hard, but what was cool, like we had that mix up on the handstand walk, but we got to the worm and we really could like use our fitness and be a team, and it really showed. Like to us, we knew we were catching those teams and we knew how much of a deficit we had on them, and that we were like, if we would have just done the handstand walk and not had that slip up, we would have been in the top race for this event just because the way we move a worm.
Yeah.
We're as a team.
Hey, this is a perfect time for you to go ahead and plug next season.
Yeah. So Sam, Zoe, and I are
in reach of, or in,
yeah.
Kyra did a great job. Thank you for stepping in this season, but she's wanting to go individual.
She's wanting to go individual. We knew that. Like, this is a 1-year deal for her, and she, like, to get her some games experience, which I think she really enjoyed, and like, her goal is to go individual. So, we're replacing her, I guess. Yeah, so we're gonna replace her. We need a girl. If you made it to a semi or the games as an individual,
and you're cool to hang out with,
and you were cool,
big part of this.
Yeah, to where we can have a good season.
Preferably like what, 5.
Yeah, I've been with 2 short girls last year, 1 short girl this year. I would prefer somebody who's about, at least 5'6" or something. 5'6", 5'7" would be perfect. Yeah. I mean, but that's not the deciding factor is like that you want to train with us here and win the CrossFit Games. Like that's like me, Sam, and Zoe have that goal. Like we had that goal this year, and we have a few things we need to work on. Like I feel like our fitness is there. So like we're gonna try to. That's the goal. Like we're gonna try to win.
So you're calling like open tryouts basically?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just send me a DM. Send me a DM and
with your stats, and you can come to Cookeville. And
send me some stats. Send me some stats. Send me your. Send me
a couple references of like your character.
Yeah.
Do they have to follow you or just they can just DM?
Yeah, send me it's like a giveaway. You gotta
like
follow
and follow.
Me. Like
tag 2 friends.
But no, I think you guys
really know.
We need Dre to make the poster. I want you.
Possibly you.
I want you. Yeah, we do. We need an Uncle Sam poster. I want you to join.
I mean, 7th, I would have said top 5 before the games for sure.
We had a few slip-ups.
Couple little things to clean up. But I mean, 7th is still, there's some really good teams ahead of you guys.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, that top 3 is about what I thought the top 3. I thought you guys could sneak in there, honestly, before.
Yeah, but those teams are solid.
Those teams are super solid. I'm going to be 100% honest. Knowing Andrea and Taylor, I would have, like, if they would have won,
they were going to win.
Yeah, they'd win. Yeah. So Invictus, incredible.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah,
really,
and
really
I think it's, I think it's not underdog. They were underdogs, but I think having
I don't think that people
thought
they necessarily
them
win.
And Oslo Blue. I mean, Oslo made it super close with Proven as well. So
if I was choosing who I thought was going to win, I thought it was going to look. I thought Invictus was going to win. Oh no, I thought Invictus was going to win.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I didn't really know. I knew they're all incredible athletes. I thought they did incredible last year, but them getting 3rd last year, and it's the same group pretty much.
Yeah.
I would have thought Oslo would have given Proven the best run, knowing from last year.
Yeah, for the top. Yeah. I just knew. I'm just basing off like what I know about Jorge. Like I know how fit he is, and I know the team. Like I know his team. I know how they were last year. And
he's a good leader and
he is.
Dude.
Yeah,
yeah, like
just like an athlete. He's an athlete.
Yeah. And what's the scoop on them though? Did you say they're coming back next year? Do you know?
No,
they're not.
I know.
Yeah,
Jorge and Brittany for sure have talked about going individual.
Nice.
Devin, when I talked
about that too, right?
Yeah, when I talked to Brittany, she said that Devin and Josh were not 100% sure what they were going to do, I guess. So I think that their goal is probably individual as well.
Sweet.
So, yep. That's anything else on CrossFit Games?
We covered a lot.
I don't think so.
A lot. That was an hour and a half. That's
our 45-minute show went 90 minutes.
Yep.
That's part 1.
Community. Oh, there's still you can still get free Mayhem program for a month.
What is it?
Code Community.
Code Community.
Use the code Community at MayhemAthletes.com.
Code Community at MayhemAthletes.com.
Got a lot of new members.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Looking forward to hopefully
building the family.
That'll be side 1 of the tape. If you want to flip it over and listen to side 2.
You guys got any more plugs before can I do one plug?
Oh, yeah, you plug away, man.
I want to thank GoRuck and Mayhem Athlete. Obviously, Mayhem Athlete helped us get to the games. Like it helped us, all year. My whole career, I guess. My whole CrossFit career. I've been, my whole life. Mayhem Athlete has sponsored it. GoRuck helped us get to the games. They sent us a lot of awesome stuff. Your backpack with GoRuck is
cool backpack.
Sweet. It's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. One of the coolest applications. Like you wouldn't even think like putting a flag in a bag.
And everybody freaked out because we put flags in there. Those are scraps from flags that are going to be destroyed.
Yeah.
There you go. I want to thank GoRuck and Mayhem Athlete for helping us get to the games. Those are my plugs.
Love that. I'm just trying to think what we have coming up. BCS Classic is around the corner.
Yep.
You can still buy a spectator pass, but there's 900 athletes sold out. Some of those workouts are out, so starting to have fun practicing those.
Yeah, me and Angelo practice more of my team.
Oh, yeah, you guys are teamed up.
Yeah.
I
was like going through the list because I was like, these guys aren't going to want to compete. So I was like, Tyler. I asked Tyler first just because he hadn't competed and I knew like where you're at.
He's like, he might be in.
And he's like, I think I'm going to do Rogue. And I'm like, what weekend is that? It was that weekend, the qualifier. So I was like, Angelo?
He's like,
he's like,
no!
what are the workouts? And I sent him to. He's like, oh, okay, I'll do those. 'Cause, I mean, they're pretty fun. Like
Yeah,
they're fitnessy,
dude,
but
it's a great event
it'd be
too.
fun. And Charlie puts on an incredible event down there.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
like,
community down there at BCS. It's a cool event.
It really
it's
is.
just the only problem is it is so hot. It's gonna be 105 degrees.
It's gonna be nasty this year.
Yeah. Sorry, Angelo. What you got, Scott?
I was just gonna say, as long as Angelo doesn't sleep on the bunk in the coach below me, I almost killed AJ.
Josh just texted and said that you guys are at the hotel. No, we could tell him you were at the camper.
Yeah, no way.
No, I'll tell him right now.
Yeah,
because he was like, no.
Yeah, we all have to be in the camper.
No, yeah.
Is this
part of
our
the bro
camper?
Trip.
Sorry,
no.
Camper?
Charlie has like this
up.
legit camper in the parking lot, so it's awesome.
It's the coach.
The coach.
Sorry.
Proud of you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You absolutely crushed it.
Thank you.
All right, that's games episode.
How about last one, Scott? Do you want to tell people what are they looking for? What's coming out? What's out that they should watch, and what's coming out?
Well, all of our BTS videos from the games. If you haven't watched them, go watch them, and they're all like 40 minutes long, so it's pretty awesome. And then this podcast, and then the next podcast will be Leadville.
Yep, Leadville's next. We're gonna recap Leadville.
We Rich and I went on a side quest, tuna fish, the week before.
So
the week before
that'll be a
the
Mayhem
games.
Outdoors video coming up. We got some elk hunt videos that will come out this fall because I've got 3 trips. Well, 2 that'll only be. Scott's pretty upset about that one. I'm pretty upset about that one too. But
me too.
We got 2 of those, and then the Leadville video will come out, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the next podcast.
We'll talk about that in the next one. So side B, you'll see it. I don't know, 3 or 4 days after.
Yes.
All right.